Within 3 months the rails will be lifted, the visiting officials explained. Priorities in general having shifted and motive force transferred to new networks of roads. Developers will clamour for the ticket office, shunting yard and sidings under the auctioneer's hammer. And this eternal trackbed, stitched with seams of foxglove, colt's foot, celandine, will be coated over in tarmac. Tonight, the station master stands astride the granite foundation stone, devoted to both progress and commemoration. 2 polished patent leather boots planted in opposing centuries. Since he shared the news, the villagers can no longer take for granted the good faith of the men in suits. Whatever Heath might choose today to utter about the common market, new prosperity, new buyers for their beef and butter, as he readies to dispatch herds of civil servants out to Brussels. Closer to home, they have already gone through the motions of parliamentary tussles, redemptive amendments to the bill thrown out, a rare rebellion by their local member, all in vain. All that remains, as the county closes into this Arctic December night, are the faces now assembling at the gates, line-lit by flights of votive oil hand lamps repurposed from the stores, performing a vigil for the final locomotive ever to leave the village. The station master stands to swallow the last of the lukewarm tea, sets down the chipped double arrow cup. The people follow his lead to platform 3, where Rod grinds a Park Drive dog end into gravel, hoists his body weight up to the cab, flicks on lights for the passengers boarding to travel into the new era. Ella Fitzgerald sings on the waiting room radio, and the freezing, huddled villagers join in. We shall not be moved. Even Basil, voice like the wheezing organ he wrestles through Mass each Sunday morning. From the heavens, lunar light drains warmth from the earth, and certain of those present would far sooner press ahead and get it over with. Sensing the mood, the station master calls attention, says his piece, evokes the Victorian spirit of capability which laid the tracks, makes mention of the Apollo crew now preparing to leave for home. We can't know tomorrow's world, he reminds the gathering. But if a man facing darkness borrows his noblest predecessor's boldness, then any trial can only make him stronger. He glances at the full moon, then his watch, unsure whether to string the speech out longer. But the people are already applauding, and the song resumes with greater verve and passion. And the station master doubts that the timetable will be adhered to in quite the expected fashion, given also that the bugler is arriving only now. His gaze shifts from Orion to Taurus, reverts to the knowing full moon. The villagers add a further verse and chorus, just like a tree standing by the waterside, bridging the elapsing minutes. The bugler is ready now. Silence intervenes. His notes rise, steady as the constellations. The last post. Nobody is dying, reflects the station master. But clearly this is bereavement still. The change is denying the whole damn place its lifeline, its permanent way. Some moments of rumination pass, and Rod starts the engine. Diesel smoke and whistle fill out the station, and the departure is made. Brandy and tea are received by the villagers filing through the station master's scullery, who are received by Jean, unflinchingly smiling and smoothing her beige polyester dress, and sapped warmth is restored by the tipples and the flames that crackle in the grate, and the rueful bonhomie that ripples through the rooms like a tentative thaw. The small television set in the corner is relaying flickering pictures from Apollo 17, and the commander, ready to launch, is saying, as we leave the moon at Taurus Littrow, we leave as we come, and, God willing, as we shall return, with peace and hope for all mankind. Jean sets about the room refilling glasses and teacups, and the people yield with little ado to her twinkling insistence. And a commentator speaks of the astronauts' walk-back limit, the maximum distance they could safely roam from the lunar module. And the station master's thoughts wander back to those 7 distant weeks of college. And the station master cannot help but ponder how it would be had they all used the railway more. But the time is past for this forlorn mulling. His watch says Rod will now be applying the vacuum brakes and the loco pulling in at King's Cross to be stabled sometime later up at Finsbury Park Depot. These local losses would facilitate the greater good, the visiting officials told him. High-speed intercity travel would be approaching fast. But tonight, in his small garden, the metronomic tick of cooling steel is encroaching on his thoughts, and by second nature, the station master's hand moves again to his pocket, and the abrupt redundancy of his watch hits him like a punch. The image of the rocket and the men on the moon returns, and the way moonlight is sunlight's reflection. And the station master crosses a line and feels the pulse of some grand connection to all the unstoried boroughs of making do spread tonight beneath the same lunar gleaming, to all the middling shires with no rebel song, no telegenic sheen of heroism redeeming their overcast Wednesday endeavours. The station master has reached his own outer border, and there is nowhere left to go, but back inside to a kind of holy disorder, comprising impromptu carol singing, a game of gin rummy on the kitchen table, and Tom the signalman holding court in the scullery, where railway anecdote and fable are dusted down and passed around a final time. Biographies for those never afforded posterity, the minor characters of the branch lines whose minutes go unrecorded. Let that preservation group do their best, thinks the station master, brandy glass uplifted, looking out again and no longer immune to the infectious mood, his gaze now having drifted to the stop signal silhouetted by the cold moon.
Okay, I'm going to get the pro. 99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. Ag thought. Pitch over.